We are back for Do This, Not That, presented by Marigold. And this is a magical time of year for marketing. So often you'll hear from people and they'll say, "Oh, I can't take it. My inbox is flooded with so much garbage and spam from all these companies selling stuff." Or, "I can't go on social media. There's just so much stuff being promoted." That is the wrong mindset. This time of year is a marketing gift. The biggest brands on the planet spend all year long. They take all of their talent, all of their research, all of their resources, all of their testing, and they put it all into this time of year and they put out their marketing campaigns, their social media posts, their email campaigns. And instead of looking at this like, "Oh, I'm being overloaded," look at it as a marketing gift and break everything down. What time did they post it? What time did they send out the email? What's in the subject line? What do the call to action buttons say? What colors are they using? What is their cadence? What are they doing? Because they're not doing anything by accident this time of year. It is a marketing gift, and this is stuff we should be learning from. What else we should be learning from is something that Spotify does. This idea of Spotify Wrapped is amazing for both business to business and consumer marketers. I have some data for you about how you can do this in your own marketing. But you're like, "What is Spotify Wrapped?" I don't even know what he's talking about. So Spotify, of course, is the giant music streaming service. And at the end of every year, Spotify sends out this email and this thing within the app to all of its users, and it's called Spotify Wrapped, and it highlights all of your most played songs and artists from the year. It shares all the podcasts and how many minutes you've listened, all the different top genres of music and podcasts and whatever. And it gives you this whole recap style thing, and it shares with you in this really colorful way that you could share on social media. And it's basically a highlight reel of your year with them. So who cares? Who cares about that? Well, we have found that bringing this into your own marketing can have a massive impact on your engagement and your performance, whether you're a business or a consumer marketer. So here's the stat, and then I'll give you some examples. Recap style content drives a 48% higher average click through rate within email marketing versus standard content offers in December and January, according to our world data research. So, what does this mean? How can you bring Spotify Wrapped into what you do? So here's a bunch of different ways. So first off, let's say you just want to recap specifically to your customers, and that's what it is. This is all hyper personalization, right? So down to, let's say, your customers, you could have a relationship success recap where you send them a note that says, "We've had 12 calls this year. We've optimized 3 websites. We've launched 4 new products, and it's increased pipeline by over 400% this year." That is a great way to get people feeling good about the engagement that they have with you. But let's say you don't have them as a client yet. Let's say you want to get them to engage with your content. Content consumption recaps are gold. You can send things out like this: "You've downloaded 9 pieces of content this year, but you missed our most popular one, the ultimate guide to whatever." You're literally just taking the data that you have on that person, you're sharing it back to them, and you're kind of giving them this bonus piece of content. "Hey, you've been awesome. You've checked all this out, but you missed these 3 things that are super popular." And be like, "Oh, wow, I do love their content. I bet these 3 things would be really awesome." Or how about an engagement recap? "You've attended 3 of our webinars this year. You know what the top takeaway was? Personalization boosts conversion rates, blah, blah, blah. Watch the replay of the one webinar you missed that everybody loved." This engagement recap style thing gets people to engage with more of your stuff, get them back into pipeline. You could even do customer support highlights, right? "We've solved 18 support tickets for you this year with an average response time of 3 hours. Need help with anything else before the year ends?" This recap style stuff is hyper personalization. You have the data, whether it's for prospects or current customers, and it's an excellent way to get people excited. Now, you don't just have to do this with people in your database. You can do it on the outward side of things. What do I mean by that? Right? You can go onto social media and post really crazy engaging content that will drive massive engagement. So, for example, social media engagement review. Go on LinkedIn and share your top posts that did the best, because LinkedIn shares with you, if you go into your own profile, which posts generated the most engagement. Sarah, these are posts that did the best. These are ones that did the worst. Okay, that's interesting to people. They want to learn from you, and then they want to engage with the content that did do the best from you, right? Maybe you want to put out there your top client project showcase. These are the things we did all year long, and these are the 3 projects that were incredible. You are taking the idea of Spotify Wrapped, you're turning it on its head, and you're turning it into content that you could put out there. What about a feedback and insights compilation? Here's all the top reviews we got from our service this year. And you put that out into a digest style out there. What does that do? It gets people, oh, maybe I should be working with them. Take what happened this year, share it with people. It gets people engaged with you. This is what works. All right. Before we move into Since You Didn't Ask, which is the ridiculous portion of this podcast, I want to let you know this new amazing piece of content from Marigold. Marigold is my email sending platform. They're great. Their website is meetmarigold.com. I send out billions of emails, business and consumer with them. But one thing that they are incredible at are loyalty programs. A lot of you out there may not even have a loyalty program yet, but loyalty is everything. Over 70% of people say they're willing to pay more for brands they love. That is when you have a loyalty program. And so they have a new piece of content called the Loyalty Program Optimization Guide. This thing is awesome. If you want to get this thing for free, just go to jayschwedelson.com/Marigold, and you could download the Loyalty Program Optimization Guide. It's an amazing piece of content. It'll give you all the tools that you need to get your loyalty program off the ground. That is jayschwedelson.com/Marigold. All right, let's get into Since You Didn't Ask. So this time of year, there's all these big family gatherings. You got Christmas dinners coming up, you have Thanksgiving going on, you have all these big family gatherings. And I don't know about what happens in your house, but this is what happens in my house, and this is totally wrong. And maybe you'll judge me, and that's fine. And so after everybody leaves my house, me and my wife and my teenage kids, we wind up always doing like a family debrief. We sit around and then we break down everything that has occurred, right? So it'll be like, okay, first off, they'll be like the fashion police. So they'll be like, oh, did you see so and so? They looked ridiculous. It's terrible. I mean, it's like the ultimate judging of everything, which is so wrong. And then we get into whatever the super awkward conversations were, because invariably there'll be like a relative that's over at the house and they'll say, so you're dating so and so. What's going on? How serious is this? Like out of left field. My teenage kids are always like, that's not like okay. Like, you don't even know what's going on in my life. You can't ask me that question. And it's the best. And then, of course, because I don't even ask the question normally, I'll say, well, what did you say? Trying to then get the information that I can't normally get. So I try to kind of like dig into that. My son says during our latest family debrief, he goes, did you see so and so had food in their teeth? I was like, what? I go, what does that mean? He goes, yeah, big piece of food in their teeth while I was talking to them. I'm like, well, what did you do? He's like, I didn't do anything. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't do anything? And this got us into a whole giant conversation of, do you tell the person or do you not tell the person with food in the teeth? And I'm in the camp, immediately tell the person, like, hey, bro, you got something floating there in your tooth. You want to knock that out, right? And my son's like, no way, I can't do that. I'm like, you have to. My daughter's in my camp. My wife's in my camp. They're like, yeah, you tell the person. You can't just let them walk away, because when they walk away and then they go see it, they're like, oh, I was just talking to so-and-so. They didn't tell me they think you're a jerk because you are a jerk. So I don't know if I've convinced him though. He's still like, no, I don't think I do it. What? Am I wrong? Should you not tell someone? I feel like you should tell somebody. Very important topic on this podcast. Anyway, what did we learn from today? I have no idea. Oh, my Spotify Wrapped. I I have not seen it yet. I know it's going to be the most embarrassing Spotify Wrapped of all time. I know it's going to be filled with 1980s music. I would not even be surprised if Milli Vanilli is in my Spotify Wrapped. It's going to be so bad. I, I'm embarrassed for myself. You should be embarrassed to even have some sort of affiliation with me. I appreciate you being here. Go check out certifiedguru.com, our free email marketing certification. It's just going live now, and it's free, and it's only for a limited number of people. So check it out, certifiedguru.com. Later.